Hey everyone, long time no see. I've got quite a bit of stuff in the pipeline, but I wanted to do something relatively quick and easy today. So I've got this nice, short, sweet arrangement of Loudon Wainwright III's Swimming Song on the guitar. There's a couple different versions of it. I'm going to link to them below, and we'll talk about the differences and what we can do when we're trying to arrange this on the guitar. Now, if you're not familiar with the way I do these lesson videos, I do a quick playthrough where I don't have tabs so that you can see it and try to figure out what's going on yourself. Then I do a kind of theory about what the chords are, what we're doing, techniques that we're using, and then we go line by line through the tablature. So the tab will be in the video, but if you want a PDF of the tab, or you just want to support me because you like what I'm doing and you want to see more of this stuff, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll link that below as well. But that said, let's just play through this tune and then we'll talk about it. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically how it goes. Okay, there's some kind of weird versions or complications in this tune that we'll talk about. Nothing's really too hard. I will mention that in the original Loudon Wainwright's version, it's in the key of A, so I would just capo on the 2nd fret. In Kate McGargle's version, it's in the key of C. So I could definitely do it in the key of C, but it actually makes some things a little bit tough. I've done in versions, I started doing versions, and if I'm playing this in C, I'll actually just do it without a capo. But to be honest, if you want it nice and open, it sounds probably just better putting the capo on the 5th fret and playing it in the key of C. Okay, now that said, talking about the original version has these 2 banjos, and in the Kate McGargle version, it's also 2 banjos. They're a little bit different. But it's clawhammer, which kind of gives you this boom, chicka feel, which is important. There is also kind of some problems with the chords because of the way it's arranged, and we'll talk about that when we get into the chords. So let's get into the chords. The chords are like this. The way I played it is like this. Summer, so it's just G, D, C, and E minor. I'll put them all up. So it's a summer I went swimming. That's the first phrase. Everything here is a 2-bar phrase. It's kind of a weird phrase here. So G, D, G. The next phrase is summer I might have drowned, then held my breath and I kicked my feet and I moved my arms around. I moved my arms around. Okay? So all these 2-bar phrases, there's some kind of interesting stuff here. The big thing is that first phrase. So in the original version, this summer I went swimming, the banjo just kind of plays the melody. Kind of aping that the way I'm playing this on the guitar, but and the guitar, when you're playing it, just kind of hits these big G chords. Summer I went swimming. So there's no real 5 chord there. There's no D chord there. No big D chord. But the reason that works is because of the way the banjo's tuned and the way that the guitar is being played. We're actually kind of playing just a G5. It's not a G major. Because if I play this G major, summer I went swimming, it's kind of wonky if I'm really getting that B note in there. Summer I went swimming. So we want to avoid that generally. I mean, if you decide that sounds good, you can go ahead and figure that out and do that. But so when this is played, like I said, the first version just kind of doesn't hit that note very strong because the banjos are playing the C in the melody, and so the guitar just plays basically a G5, so without this B note. But when you do it with a band, you're going to have to decide how you want to deal with it. And there's a couple ways of figuring it out. In the Kate and Ann McGargle, so the sisters version, it's not obvious at the beginning because it's just the banjo's playing, but when the guitar comes in, it becomes obvious they're playing this 5 chord, the D chord. Summer And you also hear that. It's kind of like a D over F sharp. Summer I went swimming. So it gives a little bit more motion. There's also another version of Loudon playing it live with a bunch of people, and they make the decision to keep that kind of droning G, and instead of going G, D, G, you get this G, C, G, right? Summer I went swimming, right? You could even put it a G over C if you wanted, C over G, I mean. Summer I went swimming. There's a lot of different options, so it's nice to like mess around with them. And if you're playing this, you kind of don't have to acknowledge that chord. But when you're playing in a group, you're going to probably notice that something's weird in that first bar, and you might have to discuss how you want to treat it. Whether you just don't, nobody plays a big G chord like this. Summer I went swimming. It's not the worst thing in the world that could happen. Okay, anyways, that's a lot of talk about just the first bar of the tune. Okay, so let's go into the tab here. So this is the tab, and all I'm doing is I'm just trying to play the melody and strum the chords at the right time, right? So I've got this first little bit, and it's just, I don't need to get the lower notes because I'm trying to get that summer I went swimming, swimming. So let me play the first line. Helps if I'm in tune. Now, you'll notice here, I'm not acknowledging that D. If I wanted to acknowledge the D, if I was playing with a bunch of people and we were really getting that D, I would probably actually go, right, like try to get that F sharp in there. But I don't think it's kind of nice to have that kind of hold over G because it really sounds more like the banjos that pedal that G note because they have the open G string. And I honestly think those two bars is the toughest part of the song because the rest of it, it's kind of easy. We D chord with a hammer on there, E minor with a hammer on there. Now you don't need to hammer on, or you don't need to put both these fingers down because I'm only hitting the high notes. But I like to do it, and with these strums, I could just hit it or not hit it. I could do the full chord if I wanted. Okay, next line. This part's easy. E minor. Now C chord, D, and I play D7 just because it's easier. And this ending is kind of a fake out, right? Move my arms around. And then the second ending, I'll put this up. Move my arms around. Right, the second ending you get to actually resolve to the G. Because you kind of expect to move my arms around, but you get move my arms around. Okay, so the only thing I think that really needs to be talked about, or could be talked about, is when I have this D, this last bar, I make this D7, and I like this because it helps me to get this double stop slide. So when I'm holding the D7, my middle finger and first finger can just stay down, slide up 2 frets, go back down, and then we have the G chord. And that last note, just one note, is what's written in the tab, but you can kind of hit it a little harder. Right. I hope that this was a fun tune. I really like this song. It's fun to play. These are just kind of quick arrangements. Hope you have fun with it. Anyways, last thing I'll do is just play the whole thing with the tab on the screen, nice and slow. Sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. Good luck. Till next time.